What up, Chuds? Cobson here with the inaugural episode of Cobcast, the only show that will always be a gem. Tonight I got my co-host with me, TornadoSam. Say hi.
Hey,
Sam? Okay. And I got a personal friend of mine named Steven, who is going to be a guest tonight. As always, anyone in the chat, please feel free to ask questions. If you want to contribute to the discussion, I might even let you on. With that said, let's begin with our talks. So I know that we're all concerned about the 2024 election. You know, it's a real tough year. Kamala she's bottoming out, as we can see, and Trump he's doing everything he can to keep it competitive, even though he should be running away with this. But besides 2024, I guess I want to look further beyond. What happens in 2028? You know, what is our bench going to look like primarily, and what's the Democrats' bench going to look like, and could that be a better, more interesting election or not? I'm curious to hear what everyone's thinking. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Okay.
So what question do you want me to answer
Tell me about
first?
I guess, who are you supporting in the 28 primaries?
I'm personally going to support whoever is the nominee, but if Donald Trump wins this year and then the presidency proves to be successful, I'm going to endorse Vance for that primary and vote for him.
I gotcha. How about you, Sam? You on Team Vance?
I think it depends on who runs. I mean, I think Vance has shown himself to be like he's definitely a really smart guy. I mean, I look at him and I see, yeah, this is definitely somebody who would be a good presidential candidate, even though he's been, like a lot of people have, tried to smear him and whatnot this year. Um, and his favorabilities still aren't the best, but like in terms of just like what he has to say, like when people just hear him talk, he comes across the right way. And I think when it comes to the Rust Belt, he's electable there.
Oh yeah, he's
It depends on who runs, though. I don't think DeSantis is a good candidate. I think his by 2028, he's not really going to be the rising star that he used to be. He's already not a rising star anymore as it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think that I think that yes, star has kind of fallen for DeSantis. I don't know who else would run, but I think Vance is definitely the front runner and probably a pretty good nominee to have.
honestly, you know how DeSantis could rehabilitate his career if he became Attorney General. I feel like that's
Wait,
not completely off the table for.
is
Yeah,
is DeSantis like was he ever an attorney like or like a lawyer like
I think he went to Yale, if I recall correctly.
so he does actually have a background in law. I actually don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
I mean maybe, but I don't think Trump's going to choose him for attorney general. Um
Yeah, he's not, but I'm saying, like, say Paxton wants to run for Senate in 26, DeSantis would be a good pick.
I mean I think so. I don't think he'd be the worst pick, but like I'm thinking of like I don't know. I still think like Jay Ashcroft or whatever would be really good for that
My
spot.
personal pick for Attorney General would be Darren Bailey. I think he's good
Darren, wait,
enough.
really? You think
Darren Bailey. I think he's think
Trump's not choosing Darren Bailey though?
yeah, probably not. But could be anyone though. Maybe Ted
Fair enough.
Cruz, because I think he was a general in Texas. Like basically, he worked under Greg Abbott when he was Attorney General. I think he could,
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
but I
I
think
mean,
that's only if he loses, though. I don't think he loses, but I don't think he's gonna win by as much as we would like because he's not the most likable guy. But I think his speak like debating skills probably gonna. No, I think Trump is gonna get him over the finish line.
yeah, I think I don't know. That Cruz would be okay. He's just really, really polarizing. I'm not sure it's a good idea to have somebody quite that polarizing in that job. Um, but I don't know. Which is again,
I
that's
mean, who
also why
isn't polarizing
I
these
still have
days?
reservations about Paxton maybe as well being in that job.
I think though, um, Paxton's gonna have to be the AG. I don't really see too many too many options that are particularly more appealing. Because like say Ashcroft, the whole Ashcroft family it's kind of been tainted because his father John Ashcroft was one of the biggest members of Team Cheney during the Bush years.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Jay Ashcroft himself is good. It's just I guess his name that's a problem.
Yeah, that's
Because
why I
like
wanted him as governor.
I mean, I look at his record as Secretary of State for Missouri. I mean, he seems like he's solid, but
Okay. Let's move on. Can I ask a question for
Sure.
this podcast? What do you think Trump could have done to win 2020? Could it have been? Could he
Handle
have won with the?
coronavirus seriously.
Could he have like won had the like RNC done a better job too? Because that was under Ronald McDaniel who had a terrible record the and the and the damage is still felt today in the RNC.
Oh yeah, if we
I
still had
mean,
Reince Priebus,
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah,
he got rid of the one of the biggest trader, Michael Steele, as well, who just now is a shill for MSNBC.
Well, no,
yeah,
Steele
okay,
left the
but
RNC in 2011.
yeah, but it's like, oh, what was I was gonna say something about when it comes to 2020, yeah, I think I don't know. To be honest, I don't think his handling of COVID was as bad as people think it was. Like I think in hindsight, a lot of us think, oh, I would have done this differently. But it's like most of the time, like apart from the fact that like say for example, Hillary was president, like if she had been in office, she wouldn't have really done much different than Trump, given the novel circumstances, apart from maybe not saying occasionally like just like dumb things
Yeah.
just to be stupid on purpose. Like because Trump did some of that, but it's like he didn't
Yeah.
really mean any of it. So I guess Hillary would have probably just handled it the same way, but just not said dumb things.
I
Maybe.
yeah. I think COVID was a big reason, but I think it was just Trump in 2020 was being stubborn. Like he was like paranoid of like the vote being steal. So he told like people like not to vote. So not enough. So not like every of his all of his supporter went to vote for him, so he ended up losing.
Wait, did he say that before the election?
I don't know, but he told voters like not to vote by mail. And another thing that he made a mistake focusing on black voters rather than
Oh
conservative.
yeah, that's been covered for a long time. Like he focused too much
Yeah.
on trying to pander to a voting bloc that was only going to slightly shift towards him anyway. and yeah, he just didn't focus on the right groups, and it wasn't even an issue that most people
Yeah,
cared about, like the platinum plan or whatever. That wasn't even a huge issue.
But honestly, for
I
the
think that I think that the problem was really he did not focus on working class whites enough.
Yeah.
If Trump
what I was gonna
campaigned in
say,
Scranton and exposed Joe, he would have probably won 2020.
and I think for most people that are not like dooming, I think, especially including myself, I think imagine how they would have reacted like if the polling for Trump was as bad as 2016 or 2020 especially. He was down by like 8 on average. Now he's like down by 1 nationally, which is not bad at all.
Yeah, it's hard to see how Trump really loses the election at this point.
I mean, if Republicans go out and vote and do their job, I think he'll like his supporter in general, they all go out and vote no matter what happened. Yeah, he'll
Well,
probably
yeah,
pull it
and
off.
he's also like the fact he's embracing early voting a lot more. Like the early voting numbers are already looking really good.
I think him bringing back Corey Lewandowski was a good idea.
It's also just that he has a good ground
Oh
game
yeah,
in the states that
Lewandowski
matter.
is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope
Lewandowski got Trump
Lewandowski
elected in the
carries.
first place.
Mm, yeah, I hope Lewandowski carries New Hampshire. To be honest, he's probably not going to be able to, but the guy won Trump New Hampshire in the primaries. He seems to know the state quite well and all that.
I think it could be closer, but
Uh,
I don't. Then again, this is San Francisco Kamala, not Scranton Joe.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't have any appeal in anywhere except for like with West Coast liberals. She might do better in like Washington and Oregon and California and that, but that's it. Like she only appeals to like coastal uh liberals.
And have you
yeah,
seen
she is the perfect president for Massachusetts.
Yeah.
also what's
So
the
back
problem
to
with Tom?
2028, which was what I wanted to. Back to 2028 because that was, particularly what I wanted to talk about. Um, let's say Vance just Trump still wins, but Vance just isn't our guy. Um, who do we stick with?
Glenn Youngkin or Brian Kemp?
Yeah, Youngkin probably.
Yeah, because he's kind of been poisoned, or he's
I mean,
poisoned
they're both
himself with the bait.
conservative. They're just not polarized.
Well, I mean, Kemp has the ability to win over like at least like some Trump Republicans, because like we saw in like Georgia, like he did a really good job at unifying everybody after the primary. But I don't know if that's just Georgia, because Georgia's primary electorate isn't even really that favorable to Trump to begin with. Like just looking at 2022, the only candidate that won the Georgia primaries that was endorsed by him was Herschel Walker, and that's because McConnell and everybody else was supporting him too. I mean, just looking at the open house races, like Trump endorsed what's his face, Vernon Jones. Uh, and that guy like got 25% in the runoff. It was ridiculous. And then same thing with Rich McCormick's seat. I mean, Trump endorsed like the son of some former administration official, and the guy just collapsed. And it's very weird. Like Trump's endorsements had an awful record there in 2022, which is why I'm really not sure necessarily that Kemp would be able to expand beyond just winning over Trumpy Republicans just in Georgia.
Yeah, I get. So what I'm thinking right now is, I guess I just personally am still a bit hung up with Kemp, and it's not
Yeah.
like maybe like, I don't know, just the guy. He feels like he's a disappointment. Like he could have been like a DeSantis tier governor where he was pushing the state to the right consistently, but he just didn't do that at all. He was too squishy.
Yeah. Well, also Youngkin is like way more based to like pretty much all conservatives than he comes off as. Like he comes off as more moderate, like on the surface, but like everybody says he's like way more conservative behind closed doors, which is probably true. So like not only is he
Yeah.
like he appeals to everybody and he's also like really good on the issues and he only moderates some of the time because he has to.
Yeah, the thing about Youngkin is I still really like him a lot. I just wish that if he were to run for president, he would pick a protectionist as his VP. Like, say, like a Youngkin Hovde ticket, for instance. I think that would slay.
Oh yeah.
I think Youngkin
Oh,
and
hey, we got
Lombardo's
two
ticket.
viewers now. Reminder to the people watching at home: if you type something in the chat or just want to join the call, you are more than welcome to. And you were saying Youngkin Lombardo?
Yeah, I think that ticket could do wonders.
No,
Like,
I think Lombardo's from the Sun Belt.
I
Like
mean,
I think I think getting somebody from the Rust Belt is better, and not even just that. Youngkin already gives off the moderate vibes. I don't think we need somebody like Lombardo who's like way more moderate, maybe than like the average Republican. Because like Lombardo's not like a Phil Scott or Larry Hogan moderate, but it's like he's still relatively moderate on like social issues and whatnot. Like I think we can, and it's also just that his regional appeal maybe isn't the strongest for where like we need appeal.
I gotcha. So the thing about Youngkin that I like is, well, again, he's very electable, but he's not a loser either, like Phil Scott or Hogan, as you said. But I think at the same time, he's not very well defined on the issues. Like, tell me, how much specific, hard policy have you gotten out of him besides like 16 weeks or so abortion ban?
Well, I mean, on the election issue, like he seems to be one of the people who is willing to push for stronger election security measures, which I mean the base likes that. Trying to think what else is there. It's You're kind of right. I mean, he is a little bit less like his positions are less widely known. He comes across as like a family man type of person, which is good. Um he very invested in like education. So I mean that's another thing. And then when it came to the COVID issue, I mean,
His
he ran on repealing some COVID mandates. So I mean, that was kind of his campaign. So I guess we kind of know where he stands on like maybe like government involvement. It seems like he's more libertarian on um the government's authority over like private people's lives. But yeah, he is a lot less ideologically defined. So I guess that is a good point to be made.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Just how he's able to appeal to us without really giving us all that much meat. And I'm actually glad he was not picked as Trump's VP, and that's because um, I think for his long-term career, it was the better option. And the reason why I think that is he wouldn't have had to have said that he believed 2020 was stolen as the governor of a state that Biden won by just under 11 points. And
Yeah,
so
I
when
mean,
I, you know, yeah,
yeah. I kind of agree, honestly, looking back. Like I wanted him to be the VP pick, but now I'm looking back and I'm thinking not even just about that, but like if Trump were to maybe like end up like it would have been a risk for his career. If Trump ended up losing this year, then it would be like a Sarah Palin situation. Because like I get that Sarah Palin got like her rising star status came out of the fact that she was chosen as VP and that she was still had influence on the party after the ticket lost. But it's like she just kind of faded out of the spotlight. Like she was not seen as like really a future contender for any major office, like especially in Alaska, because she like basically left Alaska after um losing. Um so yeah, it's she just kind of she took it kind of took the shine out of her, I guess. Even though I know there were some people who were saying, "Oh, Sarah Palin needs to run for president in 2012." That was never happening, and that was like never seriously getting off the ground, even if she did decide to do that. I mean, so it's like if Youngkin had been chosen and then had just like ended up losing alongside Trump, which I don't think Trump loses now, but it would have been a risk to choose him at the time. Um, so that's
yeah.
like one of the
And
issues.
again, I'm just happy Youngkin didn't get picked for Youngkin's sake because I like the guy a lot, and I think that's the VP job that was Vance's job. Let's be real. It doesn't really like the more I think about it. Who else but Vance? Burgum would have pissed off at least some part of the base. Um, Kristi Noem was definitely not happening. Haley, obviously not. Tim Scott, maybe, but he didn't really add much of anything besides him being black. It's just Tulsi would have been a great pick, definitely. Tulsi,
I
she,
think
she was
so.
perfect. Mr. IDKTK in the chat. Yeah, I'm a fan of Tulsi, but at the same time, she was just too far away from the GOP establishment for the ticket to really be acceptable, if that makes sense. Like, and again, Tulsi, amazing person, great on the issues, solid cross-partisan appeal. I just don't know if the Mitch McConnells of the world would have allowed that to happen. Because remember that even though their influence certainly has waned, they still hold a considerable amount of sway within the party.
Yeah.
So it's like, who else but Vance?
I mean, there was nothing McConnell could have done to stop Trump from picking Noam if he wanted. No, I mean Gabbard if he wanted to.
That's true. I don't know. I don't even think, looking back, I don't really think VP would have necessarily been the best thing for Gabbard either. Because, like, maybe she would have brought in more independence than, like, Vance, even though Vance, like, despite his favorabilities, he proved himself pretty strongly in that debate. But I think Tulsi's real job is probably Secretary of State because one of the best things about her is her opposition to military intervention. Apart from with like terrorists or whatever, because she does say she's a hawk on terrorism, but a dove pretty much in everything else. So she's basically like Trump, because like Trump was, I mean, he took the time to knock out terrorists when they could get knocked out, but other than that, he was withdrawing troops from places that there wasn't any serious reason to have them there. So I think a real job probably is Secretary of State. If Trump doesn't choose her for that, then I don't know what he's doing, because like that's the perfect spot for her, literally.
It really is. Either that or UN ambassador, because like as UN ambassador, she'd be directly representing us, and it would get her, maybe more experience. Like I was thinking maybe a couple years as UN ambassador, and then spend the rest of Trump's term as Secretary of State, just because as much as I like her a lot, I don't think she has the credential, if that makes sense. She has a lot of charm, a lot of very strong convictions on putting America first, and I respect that a lot. I just don't know if she is necessarily the absolute most experienced option, because there's always a chance that she says something and it gets real bad real fast. Still, I'm a huge fan, and I hope that she gets UN ambassador.
I mean, I think here's the thing, though. I mean, most of the people chosen for bureaucratic positions aren't necessarily that skilled anyway. Like, you just like look at some of the people that Trump chose like out of Congress. Like, I'm trying to think, what's his name, John Ratcliffe or whatever.
Pompeo.
Wasn't he like the like DIA director or whatever? It's like what the guy was an attorney. What role did he ever have in the intelligence community? But I mean, he was chosen for it. So it's like,
yeah, really,
some of these people that are chosen for bureaucratic positions aren't even necessarily the most qualified, if that makes sense. Like when it comes to just like their background. But I mean, I think Tulsi, like, especially considering she actually was in the military, I think that definitely it is a good thing for in terms of just credentials. And again, her conviction's also really good. So I mean, I think there's enough that can be said for her that like, because like again, if you choose somebody with too much experience, then the chances are they're just going to end up being another entrenched bureaucrat who has not done anything good for the country for like all the years that they've been part of the bureaucracy, because there are too many like Trump appointed too many people like that to his cabinet his first term, because he didn't know where to turn for actual good people. He just like was like, oh, these people have been around a while, might as well choose them. And I mean, that's what he did a lot of the time, and it wasn't a good idea. And so if you have too many people that have just been there for like 30 years or whatever, I mean, that's kind of not a good thing. So
yeah, that is kind of what people say or mean when they say the swamp.
yeah,
I think his cabinet was like one
Yeah,
of
I
the worst
totally get what
mistakes
you're
he
saying.
made.
yeah, I hope he chooses a better cabinet this time if he actually does win. Like it needs to be better. It doesn't need to be like full out just like filled with MAGA loyalists all the time, but they need to be like people who understand what they need to get done. Like, I mean, we need somebody, so like we need like a real fiscal conservative, for example, like for treasurer. Like we need somebody like Massey to be the U.S. treasurer, for sure. Just like not even people that are necessarily close to Trump, maybe, but just like they're really serious about their job and they're not entrenched in the system, like a lot of people are.
I gotcha. I guess the problem I have with someone like Massey is he's just so incredibly ideological that he's difficult to work with. You know, like you tell him to do one thing and he'll make sure that he does his thing of, or what's it called? He'll make sure that it's done in a very specific way that might, for all we know, create more problems. For instance, you ask him to reform the economy, he gets rid of Social Security. I mean, sure, we might have a good amount of growth, but at what cost, really, would someone as ideologically committed as Massey?
I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know Massey's positions on Social Security. I assume, first of all, I assume Congress would have to be involved in that, which obviously Congress is never going to cut that stuff. So, but if he's in charge of the economy and in charge of like dealing with the government's money and take managing resources in a responsible way, like that's literally what fiscal conservatism is all about. It's about making sure things aren't wasted, because there's too many of these government agencies that a lot of their money just goes towards crap that is totally unnecessary and maybe even just sucks, like DEI nonsense. I mean, it's
Oh
like
God, yeah.
stuff like that. It's like, just like get rid of it. And Massey, if he's in charge of ensuring where funding goes, or I mean, I guess that's Congress' job, but if he's in charge of like allocating funding within departments and in charge of uh, economic measures and whatnot, I mean, I think that's a good job for him, because it allows him to really do what he does best. And although he's great in Congress, so a part of me thinks, yeah, I don't know if I want Massey as treasurer either, but it would be a good job for him. Just like my point is, just like somebody really really serious about the job, just like him, like somebody who really um is trying to make a change and isn't just entrenched in the system itself.
I got you. Well, how about Youngkin for treasurer?
Is he good at uh resource management, or like,
The guy was originally from Carlisle.
wait, so tell me more about that. I don't know a whole lot about them in particular. Like,
Sure. So
what do they do?
Carlisle is basically, they are loosely affiliated with the Bush family, are kind of like a big center right financial group that is filled with political people but does not do political things. And it's kind of like a testing ground almost for center right candidates in the future, like Youngkin.
Huh. I mean, if that proves that he's right when it comes to fiscal matters, I mean, then maybe. I wouldn't normally think of, but I mean, I don't know. What other position would Youngkin have to fill? Like, I mean, nothing else comes to mind. So if that qualifies him, then I mean,
Yeah, I think that Treasury for Youngkin, not only, I mean, he has much more, he'd be a lot less controversial than Massey. Because, like, who really hates Glenn Youngkin? Am I right? Like, he's not like Trump or Vance or Democrats like Biden or Whitmer. He's a genuinely well liked person who isn't really hated by anyone. And I feel like Trump needs optical folks in his cabinet, especially if he's going to get someone like Paxton. So getting the popular governor of a swing state to have one of the most important roles in your government, I don't think can be a bad thing, especially when he's Glenn Youngkin, a guy with such a storied financial career and a good governor on the fiscal issues.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could work. But yeah, I mean, really just depends. Man, Trump needs to give himself a better cabinet this time. Like there need to be
All right, so
actual good people.
we have a comment by IDKDK. Is Trump's win all but guaranteed now?
I wouldn't
I would
say I
say
won't
it's
go
close.
that far, but
I think he's the
Yeah,
favorite
we
right now,
still
but
got to
anything
get
could
out there and
happen.
vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like I
vote
think
like
I
we're
think
one vote behind.
I think there are like a lot of signs that point towards him being pretty strongly the favorite, but it's like I don't know. It really just depends on how good the turnout is and if Trump voters turn out just the same level as they did before. Um, which I mean,
Yeah,
I
Trump
think
is
most of them
he's got the
definitely
momentum.
probably do.
Trump's got the momentum. The meme magic, it's not exactly at the level it was in 2016. I don't think we'll ever see that level of real uh, fanfare. But Trump, he's got the momentum on his side. The win's at our backs, and we just got to keep moving forward. And I think that if we lose this election, it's going to be because
He didn't vote.
we just stop
Yeah.
fighting. We stop pushing our cause, and we rest on our laurels, and we lose by a hair. But we're certainly the favorite, and our victory is only guaranteed if we go out there and we deliver a strong message at the ballot box that the American people are tired of neoliberalism. That's the thing, anything can happen at this point. But I'm optimistic, cautiously so. But I am optimistic.
Trump leaving
Oh
his
yeah,
ground game.
TPUSA is
Wait, what is that?
yeah. Those guys are cringe. It's Charlie Kirk.
Oh, wait,
He's the
is
guy
that
who got trolled by the Groybers.
wait, and he's bad at ground game.
Not necessarily bad, more like, I don't think Charlie Kirk is as bad as he once was. He certainly made an effort to improve, and credit where credit's due. I can respect that. But I do agree with IDKDK that it is a bit concerning that we're letting a private organization do a lot of our on the ground campaigning for us.
You
The
still have.
TPUSA has a sorry.
I mean, you still have Scott Pressler.
Yeah, Pressler is great. He's great. But there is a valid point because Charlie Kirk still has a lot of his more neocon takes. Let's not forget. Do you guys remember the name Rob Smith?
No.
Oh,
Personally,
it was
Charlie
the
Kirk
gay
is way
black
too
guy.
pro-life for me.
Too pro-life for you?
Yeah, like he call abortion a sin, but I believe in abortion. I would recommend avoiding abortion, but get it when it needs to.
Oh, I thought Vance did an excellent job on abortion.
Me too. Like he won like on every issue, and all Democrats could do is bank on like the 2020 question.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And even then,
Vance still won it.
Vance answered that question pretty well.
Yeah, but back to the point made by DK, it is a bit upsetting, yeah, that TPUSA, a private organization, is doing a lot of the ground game stuff. At the same time, maybe they really have changed because I don't see the Groypers harassing them anymore, and that's a good sign if your right flank doesn't want to kill you. But yeah, any more comments before we change the topic? No? Okay. So now, but let's look at the inverse. Let's say we lose. Who do we draft in 28?
Man, yeah, who would it?
I'm thinking Youngkin.
Probably
Vance
Youngkin.
would still have his Senate career.
Yeah, I think Vance should just stay in the Senate. If he loses this, he's a good enough senator in a Senate GOP conference that is filled with crappy backbenchers that he just needs to stay there.
Definitely. So we have Youngkin. If Trump loses the general election, do you guys see either Hovde or Rogers winning?
No.
If Trump wins the general election or loses?
Loses the general.
Okay, well, Hovde and Rod, yeah. If Trump loses both Michigan and Wisconsin, then the Senate candidates aren't winning them either.
Okay, let's say he wins one of them, loses the other, and loses the general election.
Probably still no. I think he'll need to have a
Okay,
decisive win.
So in that case, then basically all of the good northern Rust Belt Republicans would be out, and we'd basically only have Youngkin. He'd be like the only person in our field who is talented and really charismatic.
Ugh.
Maybe Hawley, but he'd be a bit close to Trump, and if Trump lost twice in a row, that would not be very good.
And I think Vivek's a good speaker, but he has no appeal. He would probably be electoral poison, since he'd say that people
Oh yeah,
should keep giving.
Ramaswamy. Yeah, he reminds me of Kerry Lake. You know, very rhetorically talented, but has a very limited appeal.
I think Kerry Lake's more toxic than he is to voters. Like,
Well, yeah, because Kerry Lake is, she's crazy. But I think that
Vivek is actually charismatic. Like, Lake is just annoying at this point to pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
She
But
should
let's
just
look at the
resign.
Democrat side now. Who do they nominate in 28? Is it going to be Newsom?
Shapiro, or Whitmer.
I'm thinking about Shapiro. Part of me is wondering if he would actually get past a primary, because
yeah, I think he's just too Jewish.
My understanding is there are like the teachers unions don't like Shapiro for whatever reason, so I think that might be a problem for the primary.
Yeah, Shapiro, he at one point was pro school choice. Of course, they immediately reversed that position upon becoming governor, but that still didn't change a single mind of the teachers unions. So yeah, he would probably do worse than even Kamala among college-educated whites.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I think though that as in, just in terms of the primary, I don't think he would make it past a primary. Um, Although I think he would be one of the front runners, maybe. Um, Whitmer probably runs. I think it's possible she could be the nominee, but I don't know. Looking at Newsom to me seems like he might be maybe the most likely, which is kind of weird because I'm not sure exactly what appeal Newsom has apart from the fact that he's like progressive and that's the direction the party is moving. Um, I'm also thinking the Dems love to nominate candidates that their party props up. Like
Yeah.
Hillary was the nominee in 2016 because it was her turn. Um, and Bernie got screwed over that year. He got screwed over in 2020 as well. And they nominated Biden, another person that they love because he was VP. He's been around for forever. I mean, they like these people who've just been around for too long, um, and are just like, just part of their establishment. So I don't know. I'm thinking they might do somebody like that again, but I'm not sure who that would be.
I mean, the thing is, how many times would they have to lose in order for them to shake off neoliberalism?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think who in the party is like like establishment, like just somebody that the establishment just like loves among just like everyone.
Klobuchar.
I could see that. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it would have been more beneficial if Kamala picked Klobuchar.
Really? Hold on. IDKBK thinks AOC. Um, sure, I can see that actually because she's just or another liberal, but she's slightly spicier on certain issues, and I think that's actually a really a plausible pick. Maybe if she, I don't know, runs for Senate in 28 instead of president, and she becomes the nominee in 32, or she, God forbid, primaries out. What's her face? Hochul.
No, I think she's going to stay in the House until she. I don't think AOC is running for president until her party has moved far enough to the left that somebody as like left wing as her would actually be seen as like somebody that most people would get behind. And
Wait
that
one
like
second. I'm
that's where
gonna.
Bernie just hasn't been able to do it yet because he definitely like um he definitely caused some sparks in the party to be ignited for sure because it wasn't things weren't as necessarily quite as far left in the party until he showed up and then he got a lot of younger voters excited and whatnot, um, which was good for them, but like he still wasn't mainstream enough to be able to win the primaries. um, so thinking I'm thinking that AOC is probably going to wait until the party is far left enough to where she seems like mainstream enough, if that makes sense.
Did you guys see that California is going to re-implement mask mandate, even though COVID is effective, is pretty much over. Like it's still it's still here, but rarely people gets it nowadays. Like unless it's like in really poor area.
That's really dumb.
Honestly, this is why Kamala wins the popular vote. California is just, honestly, it's a hellhole. Even like 30% of California them probably wanted Trump to get shot.
Well, it's also just, I mean, that's why Trump did a rally in California, is because he wants the popular vote. But yeah, it's.
But it's actually only for healthcare facilities. So. mm, mhm, mhm. Luckily, it's only California. They can't do much. Good. I mean, another thing from 2020, Trump is running a more competent campaign this time. He's appealing to, he's reaching out to way more people than black voters. But he
All
lost
right,
a lot of
I'm back.
establishment support.
Oh, wait, did you leave for a second?
Yeah, I was. I told you all I was using the bathroom, but I'm back now.
Oh, I didn't. I actually missed that entirely.
Did you guys know
Oh,
that Dick Cheney supported Trump in 2020?
Well, yeah, he
yeah, he
did,
supported him in
but
2016 as well.
yeah, he did
For
because he was
Bush.
just like another Republican just supporting his party.
I think
Yeah,
I think he really endorsed Harris out of spite because Trump ended his daughter's career.
yeah,
Well, and also because he was like, he like thought like Liz Cheney did that like Trump was this massive threat.
Honestly, I don't get why liberal find joys in saying like in like marking the terms MAGA. They don't even know what it is, honestly. Like I know some like Republicans, Trump Republicans like are cringe, but really the phrase is we want to make America great. They don't understand that they yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that Trump wins big so we can see
I
like
mean,
one of the greatest meltdown
that
ever.
that's the problem with the left, is that they like they really overgeneralize like pretty much all Republicans as being like MAGA. Like that's literally every single like candidate for federal office, like Senate and House or whatever, every Democratic candidate, unless they're running in like, unless they're like running as like John Tester or Sherrod Brown or whatever, they always run as like, oh my word, look, this MAGA extremist candidate. I mean, it's not even original anymore. It's like Hakeem Jeffries. That's the only vocabulary he has is MAGA extremists, extreme
oh
Republicans.
God,
Like
he is such an idiot.
that's all he can ever say. Like they always generalize. If you support Trump, automatically you're MAGA, even if you're like an independent. I remember I was arguing with somebody on Twitter once about this. Um, and the guy was saying, "Oh, you're MAGA because you support Trump," and I was like, "Okay, so by your logic, you're saying that like 47% of the country in the last election was MAGA. You're saying half the country is bad people because and they're all a bunch of MAGA people because they just supported Trump. It's like just like quit it already. Like there are plenty of moderate Republicans who support Trump. And there are plenty of independents who support Trump. In fact, Trump's MAGA base in the party, it isn't like the really hardcore ones aren't even half of the actual party electorate. Like it's so dumb how they like make everybody to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna attend Trump rallies all the time and wear MAGA hats everywhere we go. Like that's what they think every Republican does. It's stupid.
It's the thing about these people is if the number of insurrectionists was anywhere close to the amount of Trump voters, then this country would already have collapsed. And that's something folks just don't get. Is that, yes, Trump voters support Trump. That doesn't mean not a single thing, man. It just doesn't mean anything to be called a MAGA at this point because, you know, MAGA,
yeah.
is that just anything that's been endorsed by Trump?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even work anymore to actually convince voters. It's just a label they assign to everybody automatically. It doesn't sway any independents or anybody. It's just an annoying. In fact, it can get really annoying. Like that's one of the reasons why Terry McAuliffe lost is because he just wouldn't stop calling Youngkin a MAGA Republican, which it just doesn't work. It just gets really, really annoying because you're not talking about any of the issues and you're just labeling your opponent all the time as it's just like with Kelly Loeffler too. Saying my opponent radical liberal
Raphael Warnock.
I mean, it's like that doesn't sway anyone either. It's just like an annoying label that you keep repeating, and sooner or later, people just get sick of hearing it.
Honestly, what I think won Youngkin the general election was the Lincoln Project. Do you guys remember the stunt that they tried to pull, where they had dudes in Klan hoods with tiki torches following Youngkin's campaign around?
Oh wait, I think I did hear something about that.
That even though McAuliffe disavowed it, I think that is what won the campaign for Youngkin because it showed him as a much more reasonable, less crazy guy, while his opponent was literally, even though it wasn't actually McAuliffe who pulled for this, it was the Lincoln Project. It was the people who hated him. They looked so bad by doing that. And that's why Youngkin won.
Yeah.
Hopefully, what is the chance of a Trump landslide if we have the same polling error as 2016 and 20? Pew Research, for example, they underestimate Trump by 5 both time. Now he's only down one. If the same miss occurs, he'd win the electoral vote. No, he'd win the popular vote by 4%, which probably is a landslide electorally.
I wouldn't go that far. Let me create a quick map mock-up. So a Trump +4 map. It's like a how many point shift from 2020? It's like a
Like
10, 11 point shift.
I would say like an 8, 9 point shift. Biden won the popular vote by
Okay.
4.5.
Okay, let me add the colors because I use my 5-color margin.
Zona.
In fact, would
At
South
what point
Carolina be safe or solid?
safe? Trump +20.
Okay. Oh, then that's solid.
Well, I don't think it's going to be 20, but
So this would be like likely Maine, lean New Hampshire, lean Nebraska's second. Right. I would actually say Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin all go likely. Virginia goes lean. North Carolina goes safe. That would be a Trump plus 10 win. Same with Georgia and Arizona. And then Nevada is going to be likely. New Mexico becomes lean. In fact, Minnesota as well is lean. This is a really fascinating map. This is Trump would win with 347 electors if it's a Trump plus 4 national environment. In fact, that would put Colorado in lean. And no, I'm not even kidding. That would also make Oregon likely, and then Washington merely safe instead of solid. Yeah, Illinois would be likely. DC, Maryland. Oh god.
wait,
Delaware would be likely.
wait, what would Arizona be?
Arizona would be safe,
Wait, that's crazy
but not
though.
solid.
It's likely.
No, I'm combining the shift
Um,
and polling trends from 4 years ago to this year.
But the thing is, the polls are such a mix right now. I'm not 100% confident that Trump is gonna win. I know never will be until he does win. At what point in 2020 did you guys realize that it wasn't gonna be the same as 2016? In the
when Trump's when slowly Biden took the lead everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Like unlike 2016, where Hillary failed to gain, and then they they eventually were called for Trump. Wow. Well, 2020, the swing state stretches day by day, and Biden took the lead.
Okay, this is the map if in a Trump plus 4 national environment.
What would Wyoming margin be? R plus 50.
Probably Trump wins it with like upwards of 70% of the vote.
Honestly, I hope he hits 70% of the vote this time.
All right, now let me,
Wow.
Like
before people
maybe
start
Grant
claiming
and
I'm
Joe.
crazy, let me show you my
Yeah.
actual prediction, guys, just so
You gotta do
don't get
okay,
all.
but then you gotta do a Senate map with a Trump plus 4 national environment. I wanna see
Okay.
Amy Klobuchar almost lose.
Yeah, actually, wait. South Carolina, I think Trump wins it by like 15 or so.
Royce White is a very interesting candidate.
To say the least.
And you know what? He
There's no.
actually him saying that the bad guys won World War II. When you actually hear his reasoning behind why he said that, it actually doesn't sound like the stupidest thing ever. Even though obviously it's like none of us wanted the other side to win.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, currently right now it's 219 to
Wow.
202. I got Trump winning Georgia by around 5. Arizona also
Wait,
by
you
around
have
5. I got
Georgia,
both of these states likely. I know people.
You have R plus 5 in Georgia? That seems really, really generous.
Fair enough. Now that I think about it, yeah, Georgia, Arizona, I both got them like high lean though. Same with North Carolina, another high lean state. Nevada, I have this one as tilt Democrat. Minnesota has lean, and Virginia's tilt. And then I have lean Michigan, lean Pennsylvania, and tilt Wisconsin.
Wait,
And
how
then,
is Wisconsin to the
lean.
left of the other two?
So this is, I think, the effect that Tim Walz has on the ticket, because you see this area right here is the driftless area, yeah? Tim Walz represented this part, and he was still decently popular as a representative if he was able to be elected, even through red wave years like 2010 and 2014. I think as a result, he helps Trump's margin in the driftless area, southwestern Wisconsin, just enough to push the state to the left of Michigan and Pennsylvania. Because especially for Pennsylvania, Scranton Joe is no longer on the ticket. Trump is gaining in every single county over here. In Michigan, the Democrats have completely fallen through the floor when it comes to union support. So I think the palm of the hand is going to go for Trump, and I think we're going to hopefully get closer to maxing out the Upper Peninsula, which is still not even close to being maxed out. Any that Kamala would make in the Grand Rapids area, I think by gains in places like Flint, the palm of the hand, and the Upper Peninsula. As a result, this is why I think Michigan and Pennsylvania are going to be to the right of Wisconsin. And especially when you look at the suburbs over here of Milwaukee, well, yeah, the WOW counties are pretty red. They are starting to very slowly shift blue. On top of that, there's the northern part of the state that for some reason continues to vote Democrat. And even though the only way I could see Wisconsin go into lean territory is if Trump is able to get a huge surge out of Green Bay, and Vance is able to campaign a lot in the driftless area. Yeah, this is why I have it looking like this. Because the thing about, Virginia, I think, is more in play than North Carolina because, well, for one, I think the hurricane completely has thrown I'm not going to say a nuke, but maybe a torpedo onto the North Carolina Dems. That's not a very enviable situation because, Roy Cooper, he's bungled it up. And by the way, we do end up with 306, 232. So, yeah, happy ending.
Do you guys think that Democrats, including Harris, are secretly accepting the fate that Trump is gonna win? Like, I don't. They're probably not too
They might
confident.
be. They probably, if Trump continues to just go up in the polls, I mean,
I mean,
at
Obama's,
some point they're just going to be like, okay, yeah, I don't know what more we can do. We're on the losing end of this.
and I think Obama's fairly hesitant
All right,
as
so
as well.
should I begin with the Trump +4 Senate or my actual Senate prediction?
Your
Trump
actual,
was for Senate.
okay.
Okay. So this is, the state's solid. This one's
Safe.
still safe because, this one is solid. This one right here,
This
the regularly scheduled election in Nebraska, that's Deb Fischer's seat.
that's safe.
This is another solid state. So now, and of course, Indiana is solid. So we got it looking like this. Florida, Texas, both going to be safe. Same with Nebraska. Ohio, I could see likely, like high likely, like Moreno +8. I'm not going to touch these two yet. Let's see this one being safe but not solid. Garvey is still a strong candidate. This one, we don't have a candidate in Washington. This could potentially be Klobuchar +9, which is insane to
Yeah.
think about.
Wait, wouldn't it
Roy's
actually be even
toilet
closer than
water
that?
hits my balls.
Yeah, but
It could, in
Royce
theory,
White.
be like Klobuchar +7.
Yeah, but like
The
Royce
problem
White is
is
already
he is
he's
such an
only
awful
polling
candidate.
he's only down by 12% though already in the polling. Like, wouldn't it be a little bit closer than 9?
maybe plus 4.9 at the very best.
Yeah.
If Royce White somehow wins this, even if Trump loses the general election, I am partying.
No, if Trump,
We got Wisconsin. I'm going to say this one's likely. I think it's going to be like in a Trump plus 4 environment. I'm thinking like Hovde plus 6 or 7. Same with Rogers. In Pennsylvania, the problem is Casey has a very high floor. So I think the best possible ending for McCormick would be like McCormick plus 3. And
Wait,
now
Michigan? No,
I'm
Michigan
still
would
not
also
touching
be.
these two.
Well, Michigan would probably still be lean though, because Rogers is kind of a crappy candidate.
Really? I've heard nothing but praise about him.
Wait, what have you heard?
I heard a bunch of random pundits talk about how he's running a strong campaign despite being an establishment Republican, and how he's managed to mend fences with Trump.
Yes, that's true, but I mean, I go to college in Michigan. I'm like here right now. I always get YouTube ads attacking this guy for supporting a national abortion ban when he was in Congress and voting to cut Social Security. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff that they have to attack him on. So, I mean,
Fair enough. In that case, then high lean. So like Rogers plus 4. Trump plus 4 Maine. This is gonna be likely.
likely king, yeah.
Um,
I mean, the guy won
yeah, all
Winchester
these
State by like
guys
20
right here.
points.
wouldn't it be funny if
Problem is that
King
even
doesn't
though
even
Chris Murphy is
get?
a scumbag, he's not going down.
What if Angus King somehow gets less than 50% this time? I don't think it'll happen, but that would be funny.
Imagine if Democrats just got so polarized, they just vote for the Democrat candidate instead of King, and then they split the vote, and then the Republican win.
Yeah.
That would be funny, but no, I think Maine is one of the few states where they have such an interesting record. They really like independent candidate. Like
Yeah. Vermont, Bernie is winning re-election despite being a freaking corpse. New York would be closer than these states up here, but still not by that much. Jersey would be likely. Maryland would be tilt if Trump's really doing that much better nationally, because he'll have a lot of enthusiasm. And I live here. I'm in one of the bluest precincts in this state. I've only seen like 5 Also Brooks signs. And when I go over to Prince George's County, a college sign, I see a massive Hogan sign and then a couple of smaller Also Brooks signs. Hogan's not going to win unless Trump wins the popular vote by a real solid amount, like 4 or so. But still, I thought I should make mention of this. Delaware is going to be likely. Now we got, oh yeah, Hawaii is going to be safe. These 4. How much do you guys know about Nella Dominici?
Well, her
Lady,
last name is important, and in terms of her just like resources, like she does have a decent amount of cash, but like I don't know.
I didn't expect we'd
I
run
think in
a
a Trump plus 4
Dominici.
national environment, I think that Dominici will outperform Trump. So I think it's going
I
to be
mean,
lean because
no, like
Heinrich is an underperformer. Dominici's an overperformer.
I think she'll overperform Trump in like the cities of Albuquerque and Santa Fe, but I think overall she'd still underrun him.
So which one do you guys want me to do next? Virginia, Arizona, or Nevada?
Virginia.
Okay, this one I got tilt D. I think that Hung Kao underperforms Trump by less than a point, and I think that's enough for a Trump victory and a Kane victory at the same time. And now we got these two disaster races. I think in a Trump +4 national environment, Sam Brown wins.
Yeah.
And I think he somehow also manages to carry Lake. Haha, see what I did there?
Uh,
Carrie Lake.
wow, that means we would almost get filibuster proof majority.
Yeah.
Ironically, because Woodrow Wilson was the president that put into law the filibuster too, and now
Wait, what?
Democrats want.
But
Wait, really?
now,
I search up that. That's what Google's told me. I search up which president. When was the filibuster enacted? It was like during Wilson's term.
now it's time for my actual prediction. North Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska's regularly scheduled election, Utah,
No,
Missouri, Tennessee,
Nebraska's
Mississippi.
special. Nebraska's special is safe or solid, but the regularly scheduled one isn't. Because
What do you mean? Oh, right. Wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of the opposite one. Yeah, Fisher seats the regularly scheduled one. Yeah, so these are our solid Republican seats. Got you, this one as well. No, this one actually.
I think there's a
Scrap.
real
No.
possibility Tester loses by more than 10. I
No,
think that
I think he will lose by 9. I can't see him losing by less than Bullock since he's an
like
incumbent.
just think about it, okay? Sheehy's at 50% in the polls. Tester's at like 44%, or I mean, I guess maybe 45%. Most of those undecided voters are Trump voters that are going to break for him, which means Tester might end up losing by like 10 if you just do the math.
Hey, hold on a sec. What the hell is
Honestly,
this?
this I don't honestly.
Why
The
is
poll
there a
shows no
spike
path
on
for.
Montana?
Wait, is that actually part of the state? Like, is there?
No,
Does Montana doesn't have a spike like that in real life?
no, it doesn't.
That's so
Also,
weird.
it
Honestly,
has
Tester has no
an
path anymore.
North Dakota also has a triangle sticking out of it. Let's see right here. This is a triangle. Yep,
I
MS,
remember
man. I'm telling you.
I remember when I used to think that Tester would be like it would be a really, really close race. I'm actually really mad now that Matt Rosendale didn't run.
I tried
Uh,
telling you. You keep being stubborn about it.
did you keep telling me that?
So
I
I,
let's
rem-
I kept
go
telling you that
to.
polarization was going to kill Tester either way.
I know.
All right, let's
Other
go
people were
to
telling me that.
Minnesota.
I think I just got hung up on his approval rating, which is kind of misleading.
All right, guys. Minnesota. Um, I think this one's gonna be safe, but not solid.
Minnesota.
Actually, it's gonna be likely. It's gonna be like
No, yeah,
Klobuchar plus
13.
9.
No, Klobuchar plus 13.
Next up is Virginia. I got this one at like Kane plus 8. I think right now he's going to overperform Kamala by quite a bit. I don't know why people in the state like him, but they do.
He was a former
After that,
governor.
Maryland. Also Brooks, she's going to struggle, but she's going to ultimately win. Montana. I think it's going to be Sheehy plus 9. Tester's a strong name over here.
Yeah.
Same
That's good
with
enough.
Nebraska's regularly scheduled election. Fisher, what the hell is she doing?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
incompetent. But whatever. It's a 10
Like,
plus 5, 10.5 for Fisher. That's it. It's every time. Come on, now. There's no way. Trump is gonna carry the state by like 20, despite the polls. Come on.
Yeah, so we got Nebraska right here. Let's go to Ohio. This is
Honestly, Pete
I think
Rickett
it's
got
going to
a.
be Marino plus 4.
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe I could see that, but I think it's a lot narrower though, personally, just because it's Brown.
I gotcha. Next up, we got Texas. I think this is going to be, I want to say Cruz plus 7 or 8. Allred is a terrible candidate, you guys. It's true.
Nah, but Cruz is just too polarizing though. Like I just I don't think. Plus, I don't think Trump's gonna win Texas by as much as you think he will. But
I think Trump wins it by like 9 at least.
yeah, I don't. I'm not sure I buy that.
I think Red
I wish
Texas is
that a
coming back.
Democrat ran. Honestly, kind of like situation like these in Nebraska make me think that, you know what, actually screw it, just get Democrats to run everywhere, like even in safe seat, to make sure the independent make no noises.
So now we got Florida. I think this is going to be like Scott plus 6. Anyone disagree?
Yeah, no.
um, honestly, it might end up being by more. I mean, the Florida polling sucks so bad. Um, I think I like the New York Times poll that like showed Trump plus 13. That's the outlier that's actually probably going to end up being right because all these other polls are like showing it being tight, even though Trump's winning it. But none of it's going to happen because it's Florida. I mean, the state's become basically red.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Trump winning it by double digits is probably likely, and then Scott underperforms by only like 5 max. So,
Up next is New Mexico. I got this one as likely. I think it's going to be Heinrich plus 9.
yeah,
Arizona, I got Gallego plus 4.5. I don't think it's quite likely.
I think it actually will be likely at this point. It's gotten so bad.
Really?
But
I just don't see it. It's too polarized for Gallego to
yeah,
steamroll Lake.
I guess if Trump's winning Arizona at the same time, then yeah, maybe.
Same goes for Nevada.
Yeah,
Sam
Sam.
Brown's face, man, that's just sad.
It is sad, but he does win over most of the undecideds because Rosen's already like 50%. No way she wins like half the undecideds and ends up winning by like 10 at the end of the day. Like that's not happening.
Yeah. Now we got these big 3 really contentious ones. Any disagreements here?
No, I think that's reasonable for right now.
Sadly, yeah.
Good. How about this?
No, no. It's Baldwin by 2. They
Oh
like
no, I think
this.
Hovde went by less than 1.
Here's the
It's
thing.
not.
Wisconsin, I was just talking with Neiman about this. Wisconsin apparently historically has doesn't split ticket a whole lot. So and it hasn't for like decades and decades in terms of presidential races. So if Trump wins Wisconsin, then there's a good chance Hovde does as well. Although I'm not sure if that's a sure thing in this case because Trump's going to win it really narrowly, which
Yeah.
means that Hovde has to basically do the exact same as Trump.
Not
But
just that. Not
There was a
just
lot of
that.
ticket splitting in '04.
That was like 20 years ago. But beside that, it's not just Baldwin being a well like established incumbent. It's like this specific seat is really, really against Republican, notoriously. I'm not even kidding. Like, no Republican had held the
I
seat in
gotcha.
since the 50s. Even in 1994, it didn't even flip.
Yeah, I know it's the single longest streak any party has had on a Senate streak that's active. And finally, place your bets. Where is this one going?
it's going to be Slotkin by probably a lean margin.
Slotkin by 2.
Nah, I got Slotkin by less than 1.
I'm just not impressed with Rogers. Like, I think his ground game is good, and he may be a strong campaigner, but the polling has just been crappy for him from the get-go. And I know that's not everything, but I'm just seeing like the attacks that they're putting on his tenure in Congress, and it seems like he's having a hard time getting away from some of his past votes. Like, I don't know. He does not impress me as a candidate, even if he's been a good campaigner. But I don't know.
I thought that Rogers beat Slotkin in the debate, though.
Did he? I didn't watch it,
I
but
think so.
wait, we forgot one
But another
state.
thing is,
We forgot only in Ohio. Skull, skull,
I
skull.
just talked about Ohio.
Nah,
That brain rot prediction of mine.
Blood did not just do a prediction in Ohio. Skull, skull, skull.
Yeah.
Tilt Moreno. Tilt
I mean,
Moreno.
I think Marino might win by like a point at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're
That was
getting.
probably the most fun video to record, was the election.
I don't think Ohio the polling are getting Trump number very accurately in Ohio. It's gonna be 9, not 6.
Oh yeah, well some of the recent polling has showed like Trump +4, and everybody knows that's BS. The polls that have Trump +9 are much more reasonable. I think he actually could crack double digits just considering Harris doesn't appeal to anybody in the state apart from like in Cleveland and like Columbus and just like any other blue cities in the state. Like she doesn't appeal to anybody outside of those. Like white working class voters, like Mahoning County is going to be a big Trump win. It's like nothing. She just doesn't appeal to anybody in Ohio apart from the city people.
Yeah, and the problem with Sherrod Brown is he's from the Sanders wing of the party, too. So he's not going to get the suburban support that he might have had if he was a quote-unquote moderate.
I think, yeah, Trump is not getting the best number out of Iowa and Ohio either. I think that might be a polling mistake for them.
Yeah, no, Iowa. I don't know what the Seltzer poll was doing, but that Trump +4 in Iowa is just dumb.
I
Like
mean, they
they
had
just
like they had Grassley +3.
Yeah, they just have. I mean, everybody talks like Seltzer's polls or whatever, or like the gold standard for Iowa. Which even if that's true, in this case, they definitely had just like a terrible sample.
No, I mean they're only spot on when it comes to their last poll.
Hey, it's me, LTE, and today we're going to talk about the 1968 election. Get this shit off my screen. Okay, for one, George Wallace, not going to win a single vote. Okay? Okay, let's be real for a second. And let's be electable. Hubert Humphrey, he's going to all these states. These are solid Democrat states. Okay? Easily. He's going to win this. Going to win this one and this one. He's going to win Missouri. Going to win Illinois. All of these states up here. He's going to win New York. Going to win Massachusetts. You know, Johnson did great 4 years ago in Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine. I think these 3 red states are all going to go to Humphrey easily. Same with New Jersey and Delaware and Maryland. Nixon thinks that his running mate Agnew is going to help him. No. And of course, Humphrey's going to win D.C. and Virginia because Nixon is a fascist and unelectable. Now, Florida. I have this state going to Humphrey as well. Now, there's no way Nixon wins California, okay? It's just a fact. Nobody is going to win California. Am I right, stream mates?
So
Yes.
on election night, so now we can project that former Vice President Nixon will be the next president of the United States. How do you feel now
Nixon
that
is
your election
not
is
winning
wrong?
California. Nor is he
Okay,
winning
so how do
Alaska
you
or
feel after
Hawaii.
your election is wrong?
What are you talking about? All of these states right here, they went for you know, all of these states
No.
went
Wait.
for
We got to talk about Ohio specifically.
what do you want to talk about Ohio for?
Well, it's Ohio. We got to talk about that. I mean, these types of
Well,
things
yeah, but you
only
see,
happen
Johnson
in
won it 4
Ohio.
years ago by a massive.
Yeah,
I get
but
it, but Johnson
it's
won it 4 years ago by a huge landslide.
but it's only in Ohio that certain things can happen. And one of those
Only in
things is
Ohio.
Okay,
Richard
fine.
Nixon
Nixon wins the
winning.
state. He still loses the election because the only state he wins is the far-right fascist state of Arizona that Barry Goldwater won. All of these other states, they're obviously going blue. The states down
And
here, these are
then
southern states. Hubert Humphrey is a moderate candidate. He's winning up here because Johnson won. Winning all of these states because Johnson won. Winning California because Nixon lost the governorship in 1962. True story. No way he can ever win that state again. Can we just be reasonable here? And that's my take on if LTE existed in 1968.
no,
Only in Ohio.
what if LTE existed in 1980?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, he'd be like, President Jimmy Carter is up 30 points in the polls. Reagan has no path.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
no,
me,
seriously.
LTE, back out again with another brand new video. So today we're going to talk about how Jimmy Carter is going to win. Massachusetts, easy dub. Same with Connecticut and New York. He wins all these states down here.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Now,
Eat the cats.
I know that these 2 states, they voted for Ford, but I think they're going to vote for Carter because Reagan is a fascist, and these are liberal Rockefeller Republican states. On top of that, Alaska, ew, no way. California, he literally abandoned the state. Okay. Arizona, I think that one's actually going to go flip blue. Same with Oklahoma and Kansas and Iowa. You know, these states up here, these states were only won by Ford because he was from Michigan. And there's no way that Reagan's winning Ohio. Give me a break. Or Indiana, or these 2, because these were in this one as well. Maybe something like this happens where, yeah, I think this is an accurate prediction of the 1980 presidential race. Any commentary at all?
This could only happen in Ohio.
Oh God, give it a
Speaking of
break.
Ohio, I'm gonna go win Ohio by 30 points now.
I'm sorry. I'm addicted.
You
I
should.
gotcha. I gotcha.
I've been seeing liberal ramping up their channels now for Kamala. It's so annoying, honestly.
Wait, what is this?
This election right here is the present day.
Honestly, I don't even know what the Lincoln Project are up to. They're just like posting video with the title being one word. No one even cares about them anymore.
Okay, this is the election according to the Lincoln Project.
Apparently, they made a post saying even if you win, you will lose. Those close to you will make sure of it
Wait, why is Indiana blue?
because
Because
Trump's a
Obama won it.
fascist.
Wait, South Dakota? What? Oklahoma? You're just gonna fill in the entire
Yeah.
map for Kamala, aren't you?
No,
Yes.
not the entire map. Trump wins the fascist states down here.
What the heck?
Something like this. What?
This is crazy. I like how
This
this
is the election according to the Lincoln Project.
I like how this IDK guy just like showed up and was the only commenter.
I know it's Cobcast. It starts from a rather humble beginnings, but together, the two of us, Sam, we will make the greatest podcast ever.
One of these days. One of these days. I hope Trump
Eventually,
wins in a landslide, but I
I was
honestly
thinking.
Trump wins.
I'm thinking though, if you really are into it, we could do it like every Friday or Saturday night. Just have a little chit chat together and hang out and all that.
I mean, maybe we'll see in the future.
I gotcha.
Are we
Well,
about done though? Like, is there anything
Yeah,
else we wanted to?
I gotta
yeah,
go watch Trump rally.
we're about done. So, everyone who is still watching, all 0 of you, thank you for joining us on this absolute gem of a stream. Any last words from Steven or Sam before I
Trump
close out?
2024.
Yeah, Trump 2024, HubD 2024 as
Let's
well.
go.
Riker 2024.
Oh yeah, I want Hovde to win.
HubD and Riker and McCormick.
All right, everyone.
And Trump
Peace
in
out.
fourth place.
Have a great night.
Yeah.
Closing in 3, 2, 1.